What's happening, Trader Gang? I've got some interesting news related to the future of AMG. AMG is going electric. And I know that might sound a bit weird, but don't close your browser just yet, because I've had a little sneak preview of the powertrains that are going to go into the next generation of electrified AMGs. And they actually look pretty legit. Here's the deal. AMG are going after Tesla and their traditional rivals like BMW M with two types of electrification: hybrid and full battery electric. Full battery powered AMGs will include the EQS AMG, the C43 and the C53 AMG. They're going to have electric motors on the front axle, electric motors on the back axle, and will do 0 to 62 in well under 4 seconds and 155 flat out. And that's interesting in itself. And I will tell you more about those cars in another video, but today I want to focus more on the hybrids, which sit under the e-performance umbrella. I can't actually show you the specific cars yet because we haven't actually seen those yet, but I can tell you about the powertrains that are going to go into those cars. There'll be a choice of two powertrains, one that uses a 2-litre 4-cylinder internal combustion engine attached to some batteries and a motor, and then another one, the big dog, with a 4-litre V8 attached to some batteries and a motor. Let's start with the smaller one, the one we think will go into the next generation C63. It's not been confirmed yet, but Mercedes say that this engine will go into the next C-Class, and if it's not the C43 and the C53, which will both be pure electric, remember, then it's gonna be the C63 unless they give it a new name. Anyway, that engine in that setup is the 2-litre 4-cylinder M139 from the A45S, the most powerful 4-cylinder in the world. Right now, this makes 421 PS, but Mercedes engineers are actually aiming to make the engine even more powerful. How? They're going to borrow technology from F1. Instead of using normal turbos, they're going to use the MGUH, motor generator unit heat, from the Mercedes Formula One cars. Basically, these are electric turbos. Ordinary turbos work by using exhaust gases to spin a turbine, but these use a small electric motor so they can spin up instantly without waiting for those gases to come through. The advantage is that they give you big power with no lag. It's the same thing you get in Lewis Hamilton's F1 car and the AMG 1 hypercar. You see that e-performance logo on the new Merc F1 car? That's how tightly connected these things are. And in the 4-cylinder engine, they're aiming for at least 422 horsepower. But when you throw in that electric motor, that's when you get fireworks. The motor is going to develop more than 200 horsepower on its own, so total system output could be as high as 645 horsepower. Yikes! For reference, the standard C63 with the big V8 makes 463 horsepower. The C63S, which has more power, gets 503. So this 2-litre hybrid gives you 140 horsepower more than you could have with the V8 alone. Compare that to the BMW M3 or the Alfa Giulia. I mean, those things make 500 horsepower. This is making like 140 more. It'll be in another league. I mean, it's supercar territory, isn't it? Nissan GTR Nismo, 600 horses, Ferrari Roma, 620, Lambo Huracan, 610, Mercedes C-Class, 640. They haven't given us full performance figures yet, but they have said that any car using this powertrain is going to be good for 0 to 62 in 3-point-something seconds. So that's the C63 with the 4-cylinder hybrid. Next, we need to talk about the V8 hybrid, which they'll use in the next generation AMG GT 4-door, the next E63, possibly the next AMG GT. All their big stuff, really. That thing makes even more power. Total system output is 815 horsepower and 1,000 Newton meters of torque. That's more than a Ferrari 812 Superfast, more than a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, and we know how stupidly quick those things are. The 0 to 62 times on these cars isn't fully confirmed, but Mercedes are saying it will be less than 3 seconds. What a time to be alive. Now, there's a slight caveat here. The power figures are peak power, which you only get for 10 seconds or so. After that, the electric motor has to throttle back from 200 horsepower to 95 horsepower for a while so it doesn't melt. But even then, it's still more powerful than a lot of non-hybrid systems, which, by the way, also tend to drop back on power after that initial overboost. There's also a potential weight penalty, of course. You can't add batteries without adding weight, but it's not as bad as you might think. Mercedes chose to go for high power density rather than high capacity. That means the battery only has 6.1 kilowatt hours of storage. So this isn't a system that's designed to allow you to drive very far on battery power alone, even though you should be able to cruise on short trips at up to 80 miles an hour. Now, this application is all about adding power without adding too much weight. So the battery pack only weighs 89 kilograms. Adding 200 horsepower and 300 newton meters of extra torque with only 89 kilos, I mean, that's pretty good. The other really interesting thing is the powertrain layout. Many hybrids put the motor between the engine and the transmission, which means that they have quite a lot of weight up at the front end of the car. Here, the engine is at the front, but the electric motor, the batteries, the 2-speed motor transmission, and the electronic limited slip differential are all positioned on the rear axle. And this approach should provide better weight distribution. Also, because the motor is connected directly to the rear axle, you get instant acceleration. But that's not even the best bit. The best bit is that it has a fully variable all-wheel drive system. The internal combustion engine can send power anywhere it likes, front or back, and the electric motor can do exactly the same. They can shunt torque via the prop shaft to the front wheels if the rear wheels aren't getting enough traction. So you can have all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and at some points even mostly front-wheel drive, depending on what the system thinks is best. And obviously, you've still got the possibility of drift mode. They haven't confirmed drift mode, they've only confirmed comfort, electric, sport, sport plus, race, and individual. But if there's no drift mode, I will give one of you my Mustang for free. Please let there be a drift mode. So, AMG goes electric. Sounds pretty mad, but it makes sense. They can't keep making V8s forever, they have to move with the times. Plus, look at their success in Formula One. Their hybrid F1 cars are the fastest F1 cars of all time. They dominate everything. Yeah, we all remember when companies used to make big V12 road cars, but when that went out of fashion, they moved to naturally aspirated V8s and V10s. And when that went out of fashion, they went bi-turbo. Now they're moving to hybrid and full electric. It's a natural evolution, or revolution, depending on how you see it. Welcome to the future. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you think they got it wrong? And of course, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stick around for more soon. Peace.